Earlier last year, I auditioned for young Dexter in the prequel series Dexter Original Sin. Patrick Gibson ultimately ended up getting the role, but I still wanted to do a breakdown on what is the biggest audition of my career, see what I did wrong and what I could have done better. I'm Tristan Spohn, a professional actor and acting coach who you might know as number 2 from Stranger Things, and today I'm breaking down my audition for young Dexter. Let's read through the character description that I was given. Emotionally reserved, doesn't always read social cues, very smart young man, has a dark quirk in his personality, an obsessive desire to kill, not through rage or mental illness, but a simply felt deep in his bones need to take life. So a very juicy description that we were working off of. I frequently get compared to Dexter. I tend to thrive in these kind of dark sociopathic type of roles. My agents all thought that I had some type of similar look to Michael C. Hall. I was so sure that this was going to be mine. The main issue is that I was so clearly an actor trying to impress the casting director instead of an actor just existing in the character.
These hunting trips don't work for me anymore.
What do you mean?
Animals aren't enough.
Dad?
I'm fine. These look fresh. There's rooting up along that tree, too. We must be near a wallow. It's been a while since you bagged a boar. Those tracks look pretty deep. Must be a big one. So what do you think? Pork chops tonight or sliders?
This was the scene I had the most struggle with because of how simple it is. It's very easy to overthink conversational scenes like this. I got a little stuffed animal to act as the dead squirrel that I could look at. I'm making the choice of just staring straight into this dead animal. Death becomes this thing that I can't take my eyes off of, which inherently suggests how he's obsessed with that. The feelings I have, I can't just ignore them.
No, it's too soon.
Well, you're teaching me the code so I can learn to channel these urges. What's the point if I can't even use it? Now it's turning a little CW acting, I feel like. I went from very grounded and controlled to I'm like, but Dad, I can't do these hunting trips anymore. They don't work. This is actually the scene that I had to redo a couple of times because both my agent and my agent's assistant, Wes Butcher, kept telling me, dry it up. You're not trying to convince him of something, you are just saying how you feel. And I think I can see me trying to convince my dad instead of just telling him how it is. I kind of lost the essence of that character. And by the way, for those of y'all that are new here, I'm actually gonna redo these scenes at the very end, and make sure to subscribe if you love this educational acting content.
Well, once you do it, it can't be undone.
I almost did. I specifically wore the black Henley because whenever I was looking through all of Dexter's wardrobe, he's like always in a Henley. And then I put on the jacket that I thought gave the most like hunter vibes. And the way I lit this scene is kind of trying my best to simulate the fact that we're in a forest as best as I could. Kind of making sure your setup also adds to creating the nature that's around you. I almost did. Kill someone. Last night at the party.
What happened?
I promised Deb I wouldn't.
Dexter.
Tristan. That's like the most cliche actor newbie mistake where I didn't have the end to that sentence already planned. You want to know whenever you have those lines that have the dashes, which signal that the other character is going to interrupt you, what the rest of that line is, so you're not just waiting to be interrupted. You need to know what the intent of what you're saying is. This person comes in and interrupts me. How do I feel about you coming in and interrupting the intent that I have? If you're an actor who wants to book more roles in 2025, I'm currently giving away free acting critique videos to those who qualify. Simply upload a recent video of your acting. It doesn't have to be an audition tape, it can be anything. And I'll record a 5 to 10 minute video giving you my feedback and sending it to you, along with a personalized Hollywood roadmap based off of what I think your strengths are. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment, so go sign up below. Okay, there's this guy. And he was trying to That was a fun choice that I wanted to make. Like, I'm talking about a crush to my dad where it's like, there is this guy. And my thought is the creepiness of seeing how much he enjoyed the first kill. But as I'm watching it, it's not Dexter. It's a fun choice for a different character. And there's this knife just right there on the bar. And more than I've ever wanted anything in my entire life, I just wanted to take that knife and I am doing a good job of accessing that reflectionville. Reflectionville is basically the human tendency to look off, typically to down left or down right, whenever they're reflecting on something that's happened. So you're not just staring at your scene partner the entire time, which is not very true to life. Really letting myself veer off as I'm reliving this euphoric experience of almost murdering somebody. Deb. She yanked me off of him. You know who this scene needed? The scene needed number 2. I've done this scene the exact way they needed to do on professional sets, and yet this is the route that I went with. Sometimes you can be so desperate to show something different that you forget to still honor the part of you that is your strength. But if it hadn't been for her, I'd have... It's so forced, the I'd have. It's very clear that I'm not finishing that sentence. I don't actually know what I would have done. And then I'm like, oh, but now on this line, I'm taking myself out of it. I'm looking back at my dad. It's the most performative reflectionville I've ever seen in my entire life. I think I wasn't grounded in the character enough for this first scene. And I can 100% see why my agent kept telling me, bring it down, dry it up. And it makes sense because he's a sociopath. He doesn't feel these things. And I think I'm feeling too much because I'm trying so hard to stand out. I became more involved with impressing the casting director instead of honoring the character. Before we go on to the second scene, make sure you stay tuned to the end because we are recreating both of these scenes because I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And while I do think the second scene is way, way, way better than this first one, I guarantee you John never saw it because of how trash this first scene was. He saw the first scene, said, nope, not Tristan, and then just never saw the second scene. I guarantee you.
I've got an edge that money can't scratch.
Bateman?
You know, I've never been big into sports, but gotta admit, it does blow off a lot of steam.
What do you...
In this scene, I am launching baseballs with one of those baseball launchers at an evil man who was going to be one of my first victims. And it's actually where the process of cutting the cheek, getting the little drop of blood on the slides and putting it into his collection originates from. And that's why I decided to make the backdrop all red, because I wanted to capture the bloodlust ambiance. I am actually having a baseball that I have in my hand to simulate the movement, so I have something tangible to work off of instead of just miming it. Just looking at my eyes, just looking at my face, I'm not forcing anything. I'm so clearly grounded in the scene in a way that I just wasn't in the first scene. Let's talk about all of the people that you've hurt, the people that you've sucked dry and then just disappeared. Luis, Isabella, Renee. You'll notice I'm not blinking because he's a more unhinged character. I intentionally know it's going to unsettle the audience more by refusing to blink and making laser focus eye contact at my victim instead of looking all over the place, blinking all over the place.
Yeah, I didn't kill him.
No, but you did kill his mother, and then he killed himself. Left bullets. And I'm being very abrupt with my movement. I'm going from stock still to left bullet, and I did that to try to really show the violent nature of when I do move. It's very calculated, and when it happens, it's violent. And then the right one's the one that you shot at me from the same gun.
You're wrong. I'm telling you.
You know this can go 180 miles an hour? That's enough to rip your head clean off. It goes that fast when I hit it because I was the T-ball MVP.
Okay. There were a few people I had to deal with. What was I gonna do? Let them spit in my face?
That's the one part of this scene I really hate. It's kind of like I'm resigned. Oh, just a little bit. Oh, whoopsie daisies. I wish I was more aggressive with that movement, so then I could react off of the ramifications of that aggressive movement more. And then I noticed the blood, and it is like this calmness takes me over. And I did think I did a good job of that, of like really settling into how it's almost meditative seeing this blood. And then you're gonna notice I go back and I get a real life weapon. Notice how I'm not afraid to turn my back to the camera. I'm not afraid to walk in and out of the screen. I'm playing with the space that I have.
I gave those people an opportunity, a chance at the American dream, a chance to make something of themselves like I did. And what they do, pissed it away on drugs, booze, gambling because they're weak, spineless.
Well, you know what? Everyone has their own vices, Tony. Hey, got those Sampaku eyes going. It's when the whites of your eyes are visible on the top. It's something that typically highlights that someone has experienced some form of severe trauma. At least we're man enough to admit it.
Wait. How much? Whatever you want, I'll get you the cash. You know I'm good for it.
Fortunately for you, I have an itch that money just can't scratch. Terrible end. I think overall the second scene was actually, it was more on par with what they were looking for, and it's just unfortunate that I wasn't able to capture that same energy in the first scene. I'm just going to amp up some of the aggressiveness with the launching of these balls, and then I'm gonna find some way to have a stronger button at the end. Dad?
I'm fine. Eyes look fresh. Just rooting up along that tree, too. Must be near a wallow. It's been a while since you bagged a boar. Those tracks look pretty deep. Must be a big one. So what do you think? Pork chops tonight or sliders? Dex.
Dad, these hunting trips, they're not working for me anymore.
What do you mean?
These animals, they're not enough. These feelings I have, I can't just ignore them.
No. It's too
You taught me the code to help me channel my urges. What's the point if I can't even use it?
Killing a person isn't that simple. Once you do it, it can't be undone.
Well, I almost did kill someone last night at the party.
What happened?
Well, I promised Deb that I wouldn't say anything, so...
Dexter. I know she was drinking.
All right, well, there's this guy, okay? He was trying to take advantage of her.
And?
I threw him down the stairs. He hit me. I hit him back. And then I saw his blood. And after that, just everything became really clear.
Like that day on the basketball court when you were in high school?
Yeah, and there was this knife right there on the bar. And more than anything in my entire life, I just wanted to take that knife and plunge
What
it.
stopped you?
Deb. She yanked me off of him, and if it hadn't been for her, then I would have...
Oh my... What the fuck? Bateman?
Hey, you know, I've never been very big into sports. I have to admit, though, it does blow off a lot of steam.
What are you...
We're going to talk about the people you hurt? The ones that you suck dry and then you just make them go away? Isabella? Luis? Renee?
Renee? I didn't kill him.
Okay, but you did kill his mother. And then he killed himself. See, this left bullet is from Renee's mother's head, and this right one, well, this is the one that you shot at my head. From the same gun.
No, you're wrong. I had...
You know
I had
that this
nothing
can
to-
go 180 miles an hour? Well, that's enough to rip your head clean off.
Okay. Maybe there were a few people I had to deal with, but what was I gonna do? Just let them spit in my face?
Shit.
Whoa, what are you doing?
I'm making sure that you don't hurt anyone ever again.
Hurt anyone? I gave those people an opportunity, a chance at the American dream, a chance to make something of themselves, like I did. And what did they do? They pissed it away on drugs, booze, gambling, because they're weak.
Oh, well,
they're spineless.
everyone has their own vices, Tony, but guess what? Some of us are actually man enough to admit it.
Okay, wait. How much? Whatever you want. I'll get the cash. You know I'm good for
Well,
it.
unfortunately for you, I have an itch that money just can't scratch.